think it will definitely be more than what we had last time.
No number.
I don't want to give a number. I don't want to be one of those prediction guys, but definitely it will be more medals than last time as well.
So more than 7. Okay. Follow.
Yeah. May Allah bless Gayatri with all health, wealth and success. I am Zafar Ali Khan. So my question, you have learned a lot from Sayyid Muhammad Arif. So how you are imparting those techniques to your students? And in Rio Olympics, what actually where that Sindhu flattered in the final? Do you still remember those things?
Well, I think it was a tough final. Marin played well. I think it's not necessary that you have to falter. It's also a case where your opponent just plays better than you. I think Marin was more experienced. She was smarter. She played the conditions better than what Sindhu played. I've been very fortunate in my life to get God's grace. Bhagwan ki kripa hai. I got the right kind of coaches in my life. So I had Hamid Hussain sir, who was my first coach, who didn't teach me much about badminton, but he made me love the sport. That was the most important thing. At a young age, when a kid comes to play at age 7, 8, 9, I think the first thing is not that he wants to become a champion. He comes there because he loves the atmosphere. So he made me love the atmosphere. And when I loved this atmosphere, I was coming every day. That's when I got out of South. When he made me disciplined in the sport. That's what he did. Then when I was disciplined in the sport and I wanted to do something, I was lucky to find Prakash sir, who was an inspiration for me. And then I found Ganguly sir, who actually we could both work together and plan things together. So in some sense, I would think it's God's grace that I got these people in my life who actually have been instrumental in bringing me. So when I coach a young kid, I'm thinking like what Hamid Hussain sir is to me. When I'm with somebody who's in that second stage, I'm thinking like what Arif sir is. When I'm looking at a young kid who's disciplined and hardworking, I wanted to be inspired like what Prakash sir did. So that is the way I look at the entire thing.
3 questions. Last 3. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I think one, Srikanth has had actually some bad losses. He had no business to lose some of the matches. But yes, there were nerves at 1911, 1912. You're not supposed to lose those matches in Japan. But when these things do happen, and Srikanth has happened a lot more, so it's very fair that you ask this question. He's been working hard, so I can't really say that there is a problem with his work ethic. But yes, people have read him more, people are more ready for the kind of game he's playing. And it's a time in his life where he has to kind of figure out new ways of winning. And that's going to be tough. But I think he's putting his effort. And we have Kashyap helping him on a daily basis. So I do hope that he manages to pull through in the next few months. So we'll know exactly where he's going in the next few months. Satwik Chirag, I don't see a case of concern that they've lost. It's also sometimes that you're tired from a long tour and a long tournament. So what matters is when they really prepare and when they're rested well and they're focused on an event, are they winning that or not? And in my mind, I'm fairly certain that if they're prepared well and if they're rested well before a big event, which will happen at the Olympics, they are really the pair to be.
Fantastic. We'll take 2 questions for Rahul.
আমাদের একটা প্রায়োরিটি স্পোর্ট থাকবে, আমাদের জাতীয় স্পোর্ট ওটা। সো ওটাকে উড়িষ্যা সরকার করেছে, সব জিনিস সরকার কেন করবে? আমরাও প্রাইভেট সেক্টর থেকে নানাভাবে আমরা স্পোর্টসকে কন্ট্রিবিউট করতে পারি। তো ডেফিনেটলি সাঁচি স্পোর্টসের আগামী দিনে আপনাদের আরও বলবো হকি একটা প্রায়োরিটি স্পোর্ট থাকবে।
ওকে, 3টে প্রশ্ন আপনি স্যার।
sport, as I've said this, and I don't want to go on elaborating on this. As I've said, sport performance is something which needs to be left to professionals. And the one aspect which will be very important in us going forward. And today as a country, the last 10 years, we've really invested in sport as a country. The central government has actually taken a very big step to ensure that sport is really big. And I've spoken to our Honorable Prime Minister, I've spoken to our Amit Shah ji and Sports Minister. And we know that the direction from the top is clearly that India needs to do big in sport. And there will be a lot of areas which need to be ironed out to actually get to that next level. And one of the key things in my view would be that, and I remember this from the last time the Prime Minister had said that there was a bridge to be built, and he said the bridge is to be built by the Roads and Buildings Department. There needs to be a overbridge of a train crossing, and the railways needed permission, the municipality needed to give permission, and the Roads and Buildings Department needs to go. And there was nobody there to coordinate between all of the government agencies. In some sense, that's where sport is. Today, when we look at sport, we are looking at players, parents, academies, associations, clubs, sponsors, universities, PSUs, agents. There are like 10 people in that ecosystem, government, state government, and then who is there to coordinate this journey? I think that will be very, very important. The people with the right kind of knowledge to performance should be the ones who should be guiding this journey. And we cannot leave it to either market forces or political interference to actually happen that. So that for me is the very essence. Because this subject is something which is very new, which has not had a problem. Because back in the day, if we were talking, nobody is here as sports journalist. Only when you win, somebody is coming. No conclave is held to what is happening to sport, what is happening. When you look at the subjects which are covered, there are Paralympics, there are refugee sport, there's physical literacy, there's mental health, there's performance anxiety. You're talking about various things, sports science, technology in sport. All of these things have come up, and you know many people in the ecosystem, and everybody has a good intention also. It's like nothing. But who is there to actually sit down and say that this is your role and this is where it ends, and you have to transfer your role to the next person who takes it from here to here. I think that is what is happening. So it needs a little more direction because of the unprecedented growth in sport, and we have to make some decisions, and that kind of a body is required.
Okay, 3 questions and I have to close.
You look at the entire ecosystem of sport today. There's open schooling. There is, in general, there is a lot more respect to sport than there's ever been. I had the fortune to meet the director of IIT, Chennai, and he said one of his things is to actually produce an Olympian from IIT. So these were things which were never thought about, and this was like very, very different kind of thing. Today, acceptability of sport is far more, and today all of us here are saying if my kid were to take up sport, I have no problem. I think that very perception of sport itself is a huge thing. It takes many centuries to actually, or generations to actually get this. But I have been able to see this transformation of badminton in 30 years. If somebody says that miracles can't happen, I think what bigger miracle can you show than this one in 30 years from nowhere to becoming a top team in the world as a Thomas Cup champion. I think that is what I see. I see today, 20 years back, you would say, I want to take up sport and you are like, forget it. But today, I think there's a substantial population which is saying, I would love to give this opportunity to my kid if they're good in sport, and if they want to pursue it, I'm happy to make them pursue sport. So I think that's something which is happening. The education system is also changing. The new education policy has taken a lot into consideration. Open schooling is an element. Our perception and our acceptability of professions is also changing. Yes, of course, there needs to be a more change. But in a country as big as ours, I think it will take time. But I think as far as the effort of the government is concerned, I think they've been phenomenal, and I think I'm only just waiting for the next few years, because I just feel there was a software boom and there was an industrial revolution. I think a sports revolution is waiting to happen.
Fantastic. Yes, Shushmita.
I don't think I can work as hard as I've done. I'm very happy with that fact that I gave it all I had, and I'm very proud of the player. The coach is just pure God's grace. Of course, the player is also, but coach, because I just look at myself and I say, my mom has been super helpful. My wife, she was there when I wasn't there to take care of the kids. My entire family has sacrificed to make me the coach. Because if one of them had complained, they would have actually taken up this responsibility. So I think in some sense it's God's grace that I'm able to be in the coaching ecosystem. And also I was fortunate to actually get good players, people who trusted me, people who trusted me as association members, people who trusted me from the government. I think all of these fell into place in a very divine way. So I think it's really God's grace that this position and these players have produced. So I think for me, I'm just living a dream which has been phenomenal, and I'm very grateful to God for actually giving this opportunity in one lifetime to actually live one.